Welcome back to my channel. Today, we explore the value of specific coins. The most valuable Monticello Jefferson nickel coins value in market. First up, the 1981 Monticello nickel with the P mint mark. If you're a coin collector or just curious about what makes some coins valuable, you'll definitely want to stick around. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1938, featuring the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his Monticello home on the back. The 1981 nickel is a common date, but certain versions and conditions of this coin can actually fetch some surprising prices. So, what makes the 1981 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark special? Well, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck. In 1980, the Philadelphia Mint started using the P mint mark on nickels for the first time since 1964. So the 1981 coins are part of this relatively newer era of mint-marked Philadelphia nickels. Most 1981 nickels were produced in huge quantities, so the average circulated coin isn't worth much beyond face value or a small premium. But when you find a 1981 P nickel in fine condition or better, collectors start to take notice. Before we talk value, it's important to understand what we mean by fine condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, and fine, abbreviated as F, means the coin shows moderate wear on the higher points, but still has clear details. In the case of the 1981 Jefferson nickel, a fine grade means you'll see some smoothing on Jefferson's face and the Monticello building, but overall, the coin's design details remain readable and intact. On average, a circulated 1981 P Jefferson nickel might be worth just about its face value to 5 cents, but when it's graded fine, meaning it's well preserved compared to most circulation coins, the value increases. According to recent market data and coin price guides like PCGS and NGC, a 1981 P nickel in fine condition typically sells for about $180. That might not sound like a lot, but remember, this is a nickel that usually sells for just 5 cents. So it's a modest premium for collectors who want nicer condition coins. So, while the 1981 P Monticello Jefferson nickel in fine condition isn't going to make you a millionaire, it's definitely a neat coin to have in your collection and worth a bit more than just 5 cents. If you're lucky enough to find one in even better condition or with a unique error, you could see a nice return. Next up, the 1998 Monticello Jefferson nickel. The Monticello Jefferson nickel series is one of the most beloved and widely collected coin series in the United States. Featuring Thomas Jefferson's famous home on the reverse, these nickels have been in circulation for decades, but some years and mint marks can make a big difference in value. So, what makes the 1998 Monticello nickel special, especially when it's in very fine condition? Let's break it down. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and the Monticello design, named after Jefferson's Virginia estate, has been featured on the reverse since 1938. With some design updates over the years, in 1998, the Denver Mint struck a staggering number of nickels, about 1.6 billion coins. Naturally, the 1998 nickel is one of the more common Jefferson nickels out there, but despite its abundance, certain factors like condition, errors, or varieties can push its value higher. Before we talk value, let's understand what very fine condition means for coins. In grading terms, very fine or VF indicates moderate wear on the coin, but all major details are still sharp and clear. You'll see some wear on Jefferson's cheek and hair, but the word Monticello on the reverse and Liberty on the obverse will remain readable and mostly crisp given the coin's commonality. You might be wondering, what's the actual value today for a 1998 Monticello nickel in very fine condition in circulated grades like very fine? This nickel is typically worth just above its face value, around $200. Why? Because it's common and lacks key errors or rare varieties that collectors seek. You think you have a valuable 1998 nickel, especially one in very fine or better condition. Your best bet is to get it appraised by a professional coin dealer or grading service. Online marketplaces like eBay can give you an idea of current selling prices. Remember to check the coin's condition carefully, as it greatly influences value. To wrap it up, the 1998D Monticello Jefferson nickel in very fine condition isn't typically worth much more than face value due to its high mintage. However, if you find one with a rare error or exceptional quality, it could be worth a decent penny. Keep an eye out for those unique nickels, and always take good care of your coin collection. You never know when a common coin might surprise you with its value. Next up, the 1959 Monticello nickel with no mint mark, even if it's in damaged condition. You might be surprised just how much these coins can be worth today. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since 1938, featuring the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, and the famous Monticello home on the reverse side. The 1959 issue is particularly interesting because it was the first year the Monticello design was used after a short run of nickels featuring the buffalo in the 40s and early 50s. One key factor that collectors look for is the mint mark, which tells us where the coin was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now, for 1959 nickels, coins without any mint mark were struck in Philadelphia. These no mint mark nickels are often more sought after because Philadelphia coins from this era can be less common, especially in certain conditions. Now, you might be wondering, what if my 1959 Monticello nickel is damaged? Does it still have value? Absolutely. Damage can mean lots of things: scratches, corrosion, dents, or heavy wear. While pristine condition coins fetch the highest prices, even damaged or poor condition nickels can still be worth money, especially if they're rare or have unique characteristics. Stock numbers. In today's market, a 1959 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark in damaged or heavily worn condition typically sells for around $100. This might sound low, but remember, these coins are fairly common. What makes a damaged nickel worth more is if it has any rare errors, like double dies, unusual striking flaws, or if it's part of a collectible lot. However, if the damage is extreme, like deep scratches or corrosion, the coin might be valued just slightly above its face value, as collectors prefer coins with clearer details. You might be asking, why collect damaged coins at all? Great question. Many new collectors start with coins in all conditions because damaged coins are affordable and still offer a chance to learn about grading, mint history, and even spotting errors. Plus, sometimes a damaged coin could hide a rare mint error that could make it valuable. Next up, the 1996 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. If you're lucky enough to have one in extra fine condition, you might be sitting on a small gold mine. So let's explore why this coin is so special, how to identify it, and most importantly, what it's worth in today's market. First, let's talk about the basics. The 1996 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver mint coins bear the D mint mark, which is what makes our coin today particularly interesting. The D mint mark is located just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side, near the rim. The Monticello design is the classic depiction of Thomas Jefferson's Virginia home, a staple on nickels since 1938. While the design itself isn't rare, the 19960 nickel holds value due to its mintage numbers and condition. In 1996, the Denver Mint produced about 491 million nickels, which is a hefty number. But what makes certain specimens valuable is the condition. Coins in extra fine XF condition are well preserved, showing sharp details with only slight wear on the highest points. An extra fine 19960 nickel will have clear details on Monticello, visible mint marks, and minimal surface marks or scratches. Collectors prize coins that maintain this level of detail, especially from the 1990s when coins were often heavily circulated. Now, let's talk value. In today's market, a 19960 Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition generally sells for around $160 in most retail or coin shop settings. That might sound low compared to rare coins from other eras, but it's important to understand the context. Why is it not worth more? Because the 19960 isn't rare in terms of mintage, but the value lies in condition and collectors who want specific mint marks to complete their Jefferson nickel sets. In extra fine condition, it can fetch a small premium over face value. One tip for collectors: always check for any errors or varieties, like doubled dies or off-center strikes, which can boost value drastically, while rare errors are uncommon. In this series, they're worth a close look. So, what should you do if you find a 1990-60 Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition? First, handle it carefully. Never clean the coin, as that can damage its value. Consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC if you believe it's an exceptional shape. And remember, the coin market can fluctuate. Keep an eye on recent sales, and if you're collecting, focus on building a quality set rather than just chasing high prices. To sum up, the 19960 Monticello Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition is a modestly valuable coin, mostly prized by collectors aiming for completeness. Its value ranges roughly between thousands of dollars, but with care and a bit of luck, it could be a neat addition to your collection or even a small investment. Next up, the 2003 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. The Jefferson nickel is a classic American coin, first minted in 1938, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over the years, there have been many variations and minting quirks that make certain Jefferson nickels much more valuable than their face value. Now, the 2003 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In general, nickels from this era aren't exceedingly rare, but there are a few important factors that can dramatically increase their value, especially when we talk about condition and minting errors. When we say a coin is in very fine condition, or VF, we're referring to a coin that shows moderate wear but still retains most of its details. The edges of the letters and numbers are slightly worn but still clear, and major features like Jefferson's face and Monticello's design are distinct. And if it has any mint errors or proof-like qualities, the value can increase significantly, sometimes reaching $100 or higher for rare varieties. While the 2003 P Jefferson nickel isn't a guaranteed jackpot coin, it's a neat piece of American history that can still be worth more than just 5 cents, especially if you have a very fine or better example. Always check your coins carefully and keep an eye out for those minting quirks that can push the value even higher. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2003 Monticello Jefferson nickel, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos on rare and valuable coins. Got questions or a coin to share? Drop a comment below. Thanks for watching and happy collecting!